So you're trying to tune a piano. You found yourself there. And you ask yourself, how even do I though? Here's a few principles that I try to keep to get this thing squared up. I've already set my A to A. So that's a pure octave, A to A. From there I use the Defa sequence to line everything up, because all you're trying to do is fit 12 notes inside of an octave, right? So there's only a few principles you need to know to kind of get there. The thirds should be ascending in speed. So starting with, F to A, that should be, I think it's 7 beats per second, and then they kind of ramp up from there. So you've got your ascending thirds. Your fourths should be wide of each other. So if you have a note here, a fourth should be just slightly wide of where it goes, and it's not even like that's like 1 beat every like 10 seconds or something, 1 beat every 5. I'm sure there's an answer. Some tuner will come along and tell you about it. Then there's your fifths, and your fifths should be just ever so slightly narrow. That's kind of getting your temperament set up, and then you kind of branch out from there to extend your range using double octaves, tenths, 12ths, stuff like that. So knowing your intervals getting into tuning pianos is pretty important. I had to learn it all from scratch. I didn't know any of this until I started doing it. So we'll try to get into like what those thirds sound like, what the fourths sound like, fifths. I'll show you kind of the intervals that I use to set a temperament and extend my range.
I love Jake Pie.
All right, starting with the thirds, I've got here's A440. Here's the C below that, here's the A below that, and now the F below that. I'm going to start there to start my sequence. You should be able to hear those beats, and you're looking for around 7 a second. I kind of had to train my ear to hear that, and it's a little subjective. There is a right answer, but this is my personal piano, so I'll tune it just fine. So then my next one is going to be a fourth. I'm going to move up to the B flat, and I'm going to set that B flat a little wide. You can hear that it's beating, and it shouldn't be beating that fast. I think it's flat. Nope, it was sharp. Just a light beat on there, and then I'm going to do the fifth so you can kind of hear that as well. Just a real slow beat. And then I usually set my next octave, which is the F to F. And now you can check those same intervals that you just set, because this is F. A fourth down from F is C. Nice and decently pure. And then a B flat to F is your fifth. Nothing real out of place there. It's not beating real hard or anything like that. They're relatively pure. And so then you kind of move through your sequence and set up your thirds so that they're ascending, and then your fourths and fifths so they're, a slow beat, and then you can start moving into your extended range for your octaves. Now that I've kind of ironed out the temperament as close as I'm going to get it for my home personal piano, I'll show you kind of what I'm listening for. So here's the stacked thirds. Wah, 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 wah. Not perfect, but they're ascending in speed in those beats that you're listening for. Here's the fourths. Pretty good. And then the fifths. I could smooth it out more, but I'm not, chasing perfection for what I'm using it for isn't really worth it to me. So there's a couple spots that, it's not a concert tuning necessarily, but it's good enough for my purposes. So then I would move on to my octaves once I do those checks. I'll do those one more time. Here's the thirds. Fourths. And my fifths. And then I'd go into my octaves right here. And that's going to give me my next range. So once you reach this next F here, That's when I start using the double octaves to extend in tandem with my tenths. That the tenths should be just about the same as the thirds. That's kind of how you know you're on the right track, at least, not being so far off that it's obscene to the ears. So hopefully that was helpful to you, setting up a temperament on a piano. If not, oh well. See you guys next time.